So, Maquia and her friend decide ultimately to leave the Immortals behind, basically, and go off on their own. Now, it's never ultimately established where they go to. I mean, it's left like it's possibly implied that they go back to where their village was, go back home, or possibly to go somewhere new. It's basically left pretty ambiguous. Now, when it comes to them leaving, of course, Maquia is conflicted as to whether she should leave Ariel because, of course, she, loves him very much. She doesn't want to leave him, but she realizes now that Ariel's got a family of his own. He's got a wife. He's got a kid. He's got everything he needs. So I think she feels really, it's time. Um, Another tough thing though, Ariel, it's at this point that he finally realizes that he needs Maquia. He finally comes to realize, he comes to acknowledge her again as his mother, you know, and that's one of the tough things. It's at, the point where she's leaving. He finally realizes how much he needs and how much she means to him. But again, it's one of the many themes that this movie explores, the idea of not appreciating what you have until you've lost it. So it's very tough when he finally realizes, she's my mother, she's loved me and looked after me all this time, and I really need her there and she's leaving. But this is the thing, they fly off, Maquia and her friend, leaving the mortal world behind, and then it fades out to white, like the white fills the screen. And the movie could have ended there, and it would have felt, still like a fulfilling movie going experience, they've told a full story. But it doesn't end there, because they've been saving the final body blow for the hardest blow for last, because it comes back in, fades back in, and we're back at the farm where Maquia raised Ariel, and it's established that after the battle, Ariel took his family and they went back to the farm to live there. And we realise now that a lot of time has passed, and we see Ariel, who is revealed to be Ariel's daughter. She's grown up. She's now maybe late 30s now, and she has a daughter of her own. So technically now Maquia is a great grandmother. Um, and we see Maquia comes back. She comes back to the farm and she meets her granddaughter and her great granddaughter, and we realise she's come to say goodbye to Ariel, who is dying. We find out he's dying because he's about 90 now. Like, back end of his 80s, nearly 90, and we find out she's come back to say goodbye. And my God, that is so tough. The scene, basically, they Thornbirds us. When Rachel Ward comes back to Richard Chamberlain and he dies in her arms, but she come back to say goodbye. She was with him at the end, and that's what we get here. She comes in and sits at his bedside and says the goodbyes. And that's pretty much where the film ends. The film ends with her leaving. And she has a moment with her great granddaughter before she leaves, and then it ends with her looking back, and it finally all like hits her. The one the one thing she feared losing all this time, she's finally lost, and it really finally hits home, and she finally breaks. Um, I mean, that's one of the things. Obviously, the film explores a lot of different themes. Of obviously, immortality and having to watch those you love, those around you grow up and die while you stay the same, and while you keep on living, and having to deal with the loss. Also, it deals with what it means. It explores what it means to be a parent, particularly motherhood. And of course, you've got to appreciate in Maquia's case, she has it tougher than most because, of course, she adopted Ariel, and she was only 15 when she adopted Ariel. Um, so of course, she really was far from perfect. She didn't know what she was doing, but god damn it, she really tried. Um, and of course, the whole thing was Ariel and her have a very loving relationship early on. Um, but then, of course, as Ariel grows up and becomes a teenager, that's when things start to change. Um, because Ariel starts to realise, okay, she's not my real mother, and he realises, what she is. Look, she's not. I'm grown older. She isn't. So the way he starts to think of her and the way he starts to treat her and look at her, it changes. And it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's so tough for Maquia to deal with, and she has to keep on looking after him, keep on loving him, keep on caring for him, of course, because she genuinely loves him as a parent, But of course, he's just throwing it back in her face. And then, of course, it's only when it's too late that he realises, what he had and what she means to him. So I had a very difficult relationship. It is one thing that's very interesting that it mirrors Highlander again is the relationship Connor has with Rachel, because of course he adopted her. He found her during the Second World War when she was a young girl, saved her from the Nazis, and took her in. But then, of course, as she starts to get older, the dynamic starts to change, and she almost becomes the parent. It's so you get to see that change in dynamic mirrored here, which was fantastic. Another nice little touch. Again, it's all part of the beautiful character development that this movie has to offer. So yeah, it's a really, really, really tough moment at the end when it finally breaks in her. Because obviously as a mother, she realised, I have to be strong. I promise I won't break, I won't cry, and then it finally hits her. And it's such a powerful moment. And of course, that's another thing. So many parents, you hear them say, a parent shouldn't have to bury their child. Whereas Makia, for her, when she took him as her own at 15, she took him as her own, knowing that sooner or later she was going to have to do that, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. But it just goes to show what a really, really strong character she is. We talk about how we live in the era of strong female characters now. This is a shining example. A character who is she's no great fighter or warrior, and she's ostensibly a very weak and frail person, but then when it counts, she's the toughest there is. And you really, really have to admire her for that. But again, yeah, exploring the themes of loss, immortality, what it means to be a mother, but also, existentialism. The idea of existence precedes essence. Yeah, fair enough, she's not Ariel's biological mother, but she's his real mother because she's looked after him, she's loved him, she's brought him up, you know. She's been so selfless, and of course that's what a real mother is. So she is, and of course he came to realise that, yeah, fair enough, she didn't give birth to him, but she's his real mother. So there's so many absolutely gorgeous themes this film explores. Obviously, the animation, it's stunning. It's a stunning anime, but it's got an equally stunning story and some fantastic characters to go along with it. Yeah, a lot of, you can see like the time and the love that's gone into crafting this. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. But the atmosphere in the theatre was so unlike anything I'd ever felt. There were only about a dozen of us in there, but we were all absolutely floored at the end. About a couple of people got up and left shortly after the credits began, but most of us, as I say, there were only about a dozen of us in there. It was a very small group, but the rest of us, we just sat there in silence as the credits rolled, having to process and think about what we just saw. And we all left the theatre in silence. No one said a word because we were the impact of the film, yeah, really takes a long time to process, but it's absolutely beautiful. So if you get chance when this film comes out on Blu-ray, please pick it up and check it out, and I hope you enjoy it because it's such a beautifully made and absolutely well done film. I really think you'll be able to get something from this. So yeah, Maquia, When the Promised Flower Blooms. I cannot recommend this highly enough. And if you do pick it up, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have as much of a powerful experience as I did. Um, like this, and like If Cats Disappeared from the World, I had such an emotional reaction to. Yeah, it's just such a powerful thing. But thank you for bearing with me. I hope you found this enjoyable. And like I say, if you decide to check it out, please enjoy it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me, and I shall see you all next time. Thank you.